Clay's Corner. Welcome to another newfangled episode. Now, I just got back from Texas, my own home state, the great Lone Star State, no less. And on my travels in Texas, had a lot of great experiences, met a lot of great folks. This very special episode of Clay's Corner, I have the pleasure of introducing a mime no less, on Clay's Corner, who's also an artist. Please, everyone, welcome Gabriel Sharp, aka 99.pdf.
Pleasure. Thank you, Clay.
Pleasure's all mine. On the road. So I'm a comedian myself. I'm always on the road, as I'm sure Clay's Corner fans know. Now, tell me about your experiences being on the road.
Man, travel is really important to me. Being lost, going somewhere without a destination or any agenda or anything. Notably, right now, I'm driving from Austin to Denver. I stopped the night in Lubbock. I stayed in a shipping container that was cut in half. And I swear the water power in the shipping container was better than my apartment in Austin. It got hotter faster and it was nice. I froze a little bit. It was cold. It was like farm town. And to help the farmer out there in that morning, feed some goats, like earned my cowboy hat. I walked out with this on and he cracked up, told him I was from California.
Let's talk about Europe. Where's Europe? Right there.
Yeah, in 2021, I spent all of November in Barcelona, eating shrimp, drinking beer, and doing art shows and stuff. A lot of raves, beautiful music scene there. I had a show out in the Spanish countryside. It's like what would be like Napa Valley in California for wineries out there. And it was totally DIY. Like I was the only artist invited, and I had big like 1 meter by 1 meter paintings up on the wall, some oil paintings that took me a lot of time. I traded one of them for a tattoo. I love trades. So I got about like a $350 tattoo for this like big 1 meter by 1 meter painting that I did out there. From Spain, I drove through France and into a little port town called Cannes, however you pronounce it, and took the ferry across to England. I stayed there for about a week. Cried for the first time in London, big ass scary city. People don't realize like it's like New York, but everybody wants to stab you. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I cried when I paid $12 for a bagel, and it was bad. It wasn't a tasty bagel. And yeah, going out there to museums and stuff, it was the first time I introduced myself as an artist to people. I hadn't started my career that I currently work now, my little desk job, and I was really experimenting with introducing myself and like embodying the artist that I was very like early developing, and people took me seriously. It was awesome for people to respect when you say that you're an artist and not, oh, what's your Instagram? How many followers? Like, are you poor? It was just like the biggest thing. Like, how could you be out here traveling on your own as an artist? You must be good. And people don't really have like it's hard to form an opinion on art without context around it. And the context of me being out on my own, traveling for this really showed. I had heart in the game, and people took me more seriously, and I took myself more seriously. That's like a big part of it too, to take yourself seriously.
I agree, taking yourself seriously is very important. I call myself a niche internet micro-celebrity, because I mean, it's kind of true, but at the same time I'm a comedian, I'm a poet, and sure, I make jokes, but there is legitimate sincerity to that. I'm saying this in clown makeup, but
I feel that.
Yeah.
I made this morning out in Rye, Colorado. This was the view of my Airbnb, where I stayed in this little cabin without electricity, and I'd say I'd get to unwind, but I was really just pondering the orb really hard. Plein air, like landscapes are fun, but it was more of like a warm-up for me. My real bread and butter is in the face card. This is supposed to be a self-portrait. I normally wear glasses, these little circle glasses, and like with my bald head and when I have a mustache, only the mustache, I've been grabbed out in the street. People are like, Anthony Fantano.
Anthony
And I'm
Fantano?
like, "Fuck."
No
And
way.
I'm like, don't touch me. Like, seriously, people like grab me and they're like,
Grab
is
you?
that you? And I'm like, no, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Please don't touch me. I really started with Rage comics back in middle school. I didn't know how to do anything on the computer, didn't care for it either, still don't. I draw Rage comics, and which is like for you young folks, it's the memes in my day. Back in my day, they
The
were like
OG.
cartoons. They
Yep.
were like comic strips.
So I feel like with my visual art, it implies so much of my influence and myself. You know, when you're looking at this portrait, I feel like it excludes anybody that doesn't necessarily look like this, and that is a lot of people. But with my mime performance, it is an international, well, you don't need any context for it. You don't need words, and that way people all over the world can enjoy it. And it's something just so silly, I think, that with this, there's, should it be serious? How should I feel about it? And that's really up to the viewer, even with my art, or my mime, but with there not being any words in it, it's open for the world's interpretation. And I'm heavily inspired by Marcel Marceau, who mimed during occupied France. And it was this escape for a lot of people, that you could have tragedy going on in the world as it is currently, for some escape, something so silly and unique.
In the modern day, especially because of the internet, there's such prevalence of being ironic, being meta-ironic, and that has its place. I definitely incorporate that in my work, but I think often people pigeonhole media and art into it can only be one thing, only one emotion, one tone, and in real life it's just not that way. The human experience is so complex. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like the full range of it. People can take what they want from it, but there's no like politics to my mime. It's of course influenced by it, but I'm not peddling any agenda. You can take it for whatever you want it to be.
One last thing, we're talking about travel. You ever been to New York?
Twice, once or twice. It's all right. Not much to do there, but it's pretty cool. Should we go?
Yeah.
To be a part of it. New York, New York. I wanna wake up in a city that never sleeps and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heat. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray out to the very heart of it. New York, New York. And if I can make it there, I'm gonna make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. Thank you. And that's a wrap.